We'll break down other aspects of this, but Duke going back to Tobacco Road with their third national championship, a hard-fought 10-point win over a very game Arizona team. Carl, back to you.
National championship game has gone the way of the Blue Devils by 10. The final 82-72 over a fighting Wildcats team from the University of Arizona. I want to remind you, coming up tonight on CBS, your late local news, followed by The Late Show with David Letterman, Dave's guests Craig Kilborn, and the latest survivor castaway Jerry. That's coming up tonight on CBS. We also have still to come your way, of course, our final tribute to the tournament, One Shining Moment. Right now, let's take you back down to the court. Jim Nance and Billy Packer. Jim.
All right, thank you, Greg. And Coach K, my partner over there, said this is the toughest team he's ever seen at Duke. How would you rank that?
I think we're as tough as any, and being so young to show that toughness. Duhan, Jason, after he made a bad play, comes and hits the three. Mike Dunleavy hits those 3 threes in a row. And then Shane wasn't hitting his jump shot. He comes up with 2 amazing offensive rebounds. We just did tough things, and I think we're deserving of this.
Jason, yeah, terrific job tonight. I want to say on Saturday, I said his career is almost complete. Now, Shane, is it?
It's complete. Now, all that's left for me is to ride off in the sunset on a white horse. But I love my guys. We fought. It's a great year. This is the perfect way to end it.
Well, you have been a tremendous example of college basketball. How about this guy over here? Where did he come from tonight? Great job.
It's about time. Finally, made my shots in the second half, and was able to give us a little bit of a boost. But it just feels great to be a national champ.
I would think that knowing all of what Arizona was going through this season made it even that much more difficult for your team to get prepared tonight, huh?
Well, when you talk about toughness, come on. Arizona is so tough, and what they've gone through, and then the caliber play that they had. When we started, I didn't realize how good they were until we started playing the game. And I looked at Johnny Dawkins and I said, I knew they were good, they're better. And so winning against them makes it even a better national championship.
And I've got to point out this guy right here, another senior, Nate James, closing it out with a championship tonight, Nate. What's your thought?
I'm speechless. All year long we've been playing as a fist. Through adversity, through whatever, we stuck together, and this is a total team. Today, this is a great day, and I'm glad it's bringing back to Durham. National championships.
Great going, guys.
Celebrating the Cameron right now. Tremendous will. The Blue Devils have won the national championship. We'll continue from Minneapolis in just a moment.
Welcome you back to the Metrodome in Minneapolis, where Duke has beaten Arizona 82-72 for the national championship. Our Chevy MVPs of the game for Arizona, Richard Jefferson. Jefferson with 19 points and 8 rebounds. Mike Dunleavy for the Duke Blue Devils, 21 points, 18 of them in the second half. He shot 5 of 9 from behind the three-point line. It is now time for the presentation of the NCAA championship trophy. Here's public address announcer Jackie Bowe.
Your attention, please. To present the championship awards tonight, here is the chairman of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee, Mr. Michael Tranghese.
Good evening. On behalf of the NCAA Men's Basketball Committee, we first would like to acknowledge great performance by Coach Lute Olson and the University of Arizona Wildcats. And now it is my privilege and honor to present the men's championship trophy to Coach Mike Krzyzewski and the Duke Blue Devils.
Mike Krzyzewski, one of his assistants, Johnny Dawkins, and a happy group of Duke Blue Devils, national champions, 82-72 over Arizona tonight. We'll be back to the Metrodome with more in just a moment. These aerial views are courtesy of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Goodyear providing aerial coverage of the world sporting events for nearly 40 years. We here at CBS Sports would like to pass along our congratulations to CBS Sports Vice President of Communications Leslie Ann Wade and Kevin McGinn and their new addition to their family, Maggie. Congratulations, folks. Just a short while ago, our Armatayan caught up with Lute Olson, the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats.
Coach, perhaps the most maddening thing in the tournament is a night like this and a game like this, someone has to come up on the short end of the score. What made the difference in your mind?
Well, I thought down the stretch Duke was tougher than what we were when they really needed to be. It seemed like we had all kinds of balls in and out of our hands off the boards, and they were able to knock them loose. We were hurting, obviously, physically with Gilbert's situation, and our guards did not shoot the ball well. But when you're not shooting the ball well, you need to do a better job of getting it to the inside people, because we were able to hurt them in there. We just didn't. Duke did a great job defensively of making it tough for us to get the ball inside.
Coach, your thoughts on the officiating, which at times certainly seemed to infuriate you, your coaching staff, and large sections of this crowd?
Well, you know, I mean, there are going to be calls that they're going to be made. I frankly thought that Jason Williams was fouled out twice with push-offs, but it didn't happen. So, you know, officiating wasn't what got us. It was Duke's play that got us.
Is it possible at a time like this to piece together your personal emotions, what a championship would have meant for you and Bobby? Well,
you know, I think the main thing with our guys, I think they played hard under difficult circumstances, and the effort has been there, the togetherness has been there. Everything that they could do, I think, has been done. I told them in the locker room, I don't want to see anybody coming out of that locker room with their head hanging, because certainly all the emotions that they've had to go through this year, they've withstood that very well, and I think they've done a great job. I mean, you get to the final game, and it's always tough. Somebody's got to lose it, but certainly Duke was deserving of winning the ball game. We gave him a good run, but in the end we couldn't get it done.
Coach, congratulations on a season triumphant far beyond the basketball court. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Armin. The epitome of class in the world of college basketball, Arizona coach Lute Olson. Still to come, we have the comments of Mr. Kellogg and Mr. Walton, as well as one shining moment when we come back to Minneapolis right after this. Inside the Metrodome, where Duke has beaten Arizona for the national championship by a score of 82-72. Greg Gumbel along with Clark Kellogg and Bill Walton. Let's take a look at the highlights, and we'll pick it up in the second half, where Duke really began to assert itself. Mike Dunleavy with his first second-half three-pointer, and then Dunleavy from long range again.
Defense by Battier is going to lead to a third consecutive three by Dunleavy. Duke up by 10, but Arizona mounts a rally. Lauren Woods, 2 of his game-high 22. It's a 2-point game, but Dunleavy again pushes the lead to double digits with another 3.
Now, Richard Jefferson began to catch fire. He had 19 points. He hits another one here, 4 out of 8 from behind the 3. But Shane Battier with the dunk helped secure it. It was a 5-point lead. Duke won it by 10. Coach Mike Krzyzewski gets a hug from Shane Battier, and why not? This is championship number 3 for Mike Krzyzewski, and on the list of most national titles, he ranks tied for number 3. Let's get some thoughts on this game, and I'll begin with you, Bill, and I'm wondering if you can separate yourself from the emotion that you must feel being the father of one of the young men on the losing side of the ball.
But isn't that where life's greatest lessons are learned? And what we saw from the Duke Blue Devils today was a beautiful display of championship-level basketball. The style, the competitive greatness. Everybody talks about Duke's offense and the threes, but what about their defense? What about their rebounding, the discipline that they showed? On the offensive end, Duke's guard penetration. Arizona was unable to stop that. Then the kick out, feeding Dunleavy time and time again. When they got the ball in the post, they would look and they would dish. The guys cutting from the weak side. Absolutely beautiful here. The balanced attack Everybody for Duke absolutely competing beautifully. And then the solid defense and rebounding was all right there. This was about the team game for Duke. This was about the exquisite skill and the unparalleled physical conditioning. A most deserving champion, Duke University.
Clark, I thought that Duke was a model of consistency from start to finish tonight.
You know, I really thought the difference was obviously the Dunleavy three-point barrage. But more importantly, it seemed to me, Greg, that Duke came up with every big play, every loose ball they needed in the second half, every nice opportunity to score against Arizona's defense, which was overreacting. They played extremely well, especially when they needed to get it done with the tough hustle plays. I just think Duke made more of those, and that's why they're the deserving champs.
All right, you guys were superb as always. We'll take one final time out here, and then when we come back to the Metrodome, one shining moment to top off this national championship. Back at the Metrodome, Duke 82, Arizona 72. Coming up tonight on CBS, your late local news, followed by a late show with David Letterman. CBS Sports coverage of the Masters begins with late night highlights this Thursday and Friday at 11:35 Eastern Time. Live third round coverage gets underway on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Sunday's final round coverage comes your way at 4 Eastern Time. And we add our congratulations to the Blue Devils. Tonight's national championship victory, Duke's third NCAA title, is further testimony to the class and quality of their basketball program, and in particular to the coaching skills of one Mike Krzyzewski. We also tip our hats to Lute Olson and his Wildcats. Their season-long tribute to the coach's late wife, Bobby, kept the team together to the last. Now it's time to lower the curtain on CBS Sports' 20th year of tournament coverage and to thank the men and women who made it possible for us to bring you the many shining moments of this year's NCAA tournament. For Clark Kellogg, Bill Walton, and for all of us here at CBS Sports, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Minneapolis.
Ball is tipped, there you are. You're running for your life, well, you're a shooting star. And all the years, no one knows just how hard you worked, but now it shows. One shining moment, it's all on the line. One shining moment, they're frozen in time is short and the road is long. In the blinking of an eye, all that moment's gone. When it's done, win or lose, you always did your best. 'Cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reached deep inside. One shining moment you knew you were alive. Feel the beat of your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a race. When it's done, win or lose, you always did your best. 'Cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reached for the sky. One shining moment you knew. One shining moment you were willing to try. One shining moment you knew. One shining moment.
Tonight on the Emmy Award-winning Late Show, Dave.
And if this celebration is anything like those of the past, expect it to last for several days. Tonight, we're inside of Cameron Indoor Stadium. Steve Crump, WBTV News 3, back to you in the studio.
What a melee, Steve. Thanks. What's a Final Four if you can't get together with your friends to cheer as a group? Tonight's champion.
Pieces of the souvenir twine in the lid and the deep satisfaction and a smile from Mike Krzyzewski, a milestone third national championship. Same spot as number 2 back in 1992. For Arizona, a terrific run this season, bouncing back from so much adversity. But it was the guard play in this championship game that let them down just a little bit. Gilbert Arenas maybe didn't look 100% with that shoulder injury, and Jason Gardner not able to reproduce the magic of that championship run in the semifinal game on Saturday. After the game, disappointed, he visited with Andy Katz.
Jason, when did this game turn into Duke's favor when they built those 2 double-digit leads?
I think it was more that, when Mike Dunleavy, hit the back-to-back threes. And I think, if you take that out the game or other than that, I think the rest of the game, I think it was just neck and neck the whole way.
When you guys got it down, I think there was one point where it got to 3. They just kept answering with those big buckets. Was it just that you guys couldn't, respond with those quick answers? There were some just quick shots that just went in and out.
Well, I just think, when they came down and responded, I think when we cut a 3, Batty got that open dunk. So, I don't really know what happened on the rotation. But, then we came on the other end. I think, had a layup, and missed. I think, Gilbert might have penetrated. And, any other game, he would have hit that. I probably would have hit my 3s. But, I think it was just one of them games where, the ball just wouldn't fall in the hole for some reason.
Can you put the season in perspective? I know it's hard right now, but everything you guys have been through, starting off 8-5, and then still to persevere to get to this title game.
I just, give the guys credit. And I think, even though still, we didn't win this game, I still think, Coach Olsen did a great job. I think he's still, the best coach in the country. I think that, it's just that, the guys just went out there, and I think we didn't pick up the loose balls. We didn't hit free throws. And, we just didn't knock down, the open shots. So, I still give credit, the coaches, staff, for going out and doing a great job.
Thank you, Jason. Jason Gardner getting his team still to the national title game. Arizona has a great shot to get back if only Lauren Woods leaves. Let's go back to the studio.
Oh, they do, Andy, but the backcourt disappointing. You can see that Gardner and Arenas, after torching Michigan State, only 17 points combined. They were 6 of 28. Richard Jefferson hit the only 4 3-pointers for the team. The rest of the team was 0 for 14 combined. You can see that Arenas and Gardner not able to disrupt Duke's offense with the steals the same way they were Michigan State in the semifinals. So the Blue Devils prevail, a total team effort. Shane Battier once again spectacular. 99 out of the last 100 minutes he has played in this NCAA tournament. He's the MVP of the Final Four. We go to the podium now and the victorious Mike Krzyzewski.
National championship.
Please direct your questions to specific players. Far left.
Mike Dunleavy, in the first half, I think you hit your first shot and then you missed a couple, and even late in the half, it looked like you'd passed up a couple shots. Were you thinking anything coming into the second half, and can you talk about the...
Yeah, I mean, I was coming in the second half. I was just thinking, stay aggressive. You know, Coach Collins and I had a long talk yesterday about being aggressive on offense, and you know, some shots didn't go for me in the first half, but you know, that didn't change my mindset. And I came out in the second half. I think I might have missed my first two, but Chris kicked a three out to me, and it was pretty deep. I shot it and it went in, and then it kind of got me going, and you know, I was really feeling it. It was good timing too, you know, to do it in the national championship game.
It's a pretty good time.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm sure the rest of these guys are thinking it's about time. But, you know.
Especially his roommate.
So I was just, you know, just glad to help out tonight.
Right here, fifth row on the left.
Shane, yesterday you said that you were a little disappointed in yourself that you hadn't been able to win the third championship for Coach Krzyzewski. Now that this team has done that, could you talk about what that means to you, what he means to you, and what he means to Duke?
Wow, I don't know if words could really put my feelings down. Coach is such a tremendous influence in my life, and to give him his third championship and separate him from the pack that has won two is the best way that I could go out. It's my going away present to him, and Coach is the best. He's a mentor, he's a friend, he's a coach, he's a brother, and I am the luckier person to have the relationship with him for the last 4 years, and I know that he'll be one of my most valuable friends for the rest of my life.
Middle aisle, far back there.
Shane, the last 10 seconds or so, you're holding your fist to your eyes, you're crouching down on the court. I'm just wondering what's going through your mind then at that point as the clock's running out.
I was just trying to take it in, and I said a quick prayer, just thanking the Lord for the opportunity, and I couldn't believe it. After all our hard work, to be at that point, looking up at the clock, up 10 with 10 seconds to go, words can't do justice what I felt at that moment.
Left side there.
Nate, 5 years at Duke, what was going through your mind?
Excuse me, we're still with the players? Mike Dunleavy?
No, Nate.
Oh, Nate, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I thought you
I'm
said
sorry.
Mike. Sorry.
Okay. Must be my accent.
Nate.
Nate, 5 years with the program. You were a role player, sat back, watched the stars. What was going through your mind at the final seconds?
Just finally. We've worked so hard. We stayed together, through adversity, through a lot of obstacles that were in our path. But this team was just so special. So to really finally go out on top and to win this national championship is just a long time coming for us.
Right here, second row.
Shane, one of your offensive rebound stickbacks was a tip-in, which it looked like your body was halfway turned around. Can you describe that?
Well, I think in the second half, I had nothing left in the tank. I was completely exhausted, and I'm a firm believer in guardian angels. And a couple of the moves I made down the stretch, I firmly believe that my two angels were helping me. And,
well, can you do a favor for us, like, now that you're through playing, can you leave those guys with us?
I need them, Coach.
Jason, Mike, you guys can take care of them.
But on that play, I just tried to keep it alive, and I actually hit it with the back of my hand, believe it or not. And I was just trying to keep it alive for my teammates. And
it was one of the, it was one of the great plays that I've seen in a championship game. Right? That was a great play. It was, and I don't see how he could explain how he did. I think his will to win, his will to keep us ahead, somehow made he had an out-of-body experience or something. I mean, it was really an amazing play. I mean, I had perfect vision. I didn't see how it was possible to make that play.
Here in the middle aisle.
Yes, Shane, I'd like to know, your coach just touched on it about your will to win. You had 3 baskets in a row, and I just want to know what you were thinking then when you started to take over.
Well, my jump shot wasn't falling from 3, and so I had to look for other ways to score. And Lauren Wood's such a great shot blocker. He was guarding me. He was going for the block every time, and I had a free run to the offensive board. And a couple of them just bounced my way, and I was able to get my hand on them and stick them back in. And the one dunk, Lauren Wood just left me open. You know, I think it was Jason or Chris who found me with a great pass, and he just finished it.
It was me.
It was Jason, my point guard.
Right here, first row.
Jason and Shane, can you guys comment on the lift that Mike's 18 points in the second half gave you guys?
Well, I think it was great, you know, because there's so many times people have always said, you know, if you just stop, you know, Shane and I, you can beat Duke. And, you know, we're so much bigger than that. I mean, Mike has put together some great games, and Nate also. And, I mean, like Mike said, he was due. I mean, for the past couple of games in our tournament, our shots really haven't been falling. And I could just tell by the way Mike was shooting in a couple of practices before that he was going to have a great game, and he did.
Well, Mike Dunleavy's not a great basketball player. He's a phenomenal basketball player. He really is, and phenomenal basketball player. And it was just great to see him just show what he could do. I think he's overshadowed on this team. People want to talk about Jason and myself, but we believe Mike is just as good as us. And so it's no surprise to us he came up huge in this game.
Far left there.
For Mike Dunleavy, I'm just curious. It looked collectively, Mike, that collectively Duke was having some trouble adjusting to their team speed defensively. Those 3 shots that you hit in the second half, were those maybe your best looks from 3?
I didn't hear what did you say about the looks?
I was saying the 3 shots that you made in the second half of 3, were those maybe your best looks from 3 that you had gotten in the game?
I think, you know, we got some pretty good shots, but, you know, the first one I got, I was really open. And then as I remember the next 2 and the third one after that, there was kind of guys in my face, but I was just, I was in the rhythm. And so, you know, it didn't really matter.
Always looks like he needs a nap, but he woke up tonight. Big hero Mike Dunleavy. Shane Battier back to his heroics. He said he had never thought of himself as a very good postseason player until this season's ACC tournament. In the previous title game, he was 2 of 7 in the loss to UConn. Never had a self-image of being a good postseason player, which is ironic. Here he is, the Final Four MVP.
I'll tell you, the MVP, no question about it. But you know what's really interesting, too? We mentioned earlier guard play. One guy we haven't mentioned at all is Chris Duhon. And I thought he did a superb job against an outstanding point guard in Jason Gardner. Gardner really struggled. He really dominated in this semifinal game. But in this game here, he couldn't get the kind of looks that he wanted. Duhon really dug in and defensively set the tempo. We thought that Duhon would play him and that they'd move Williams to Arenas, and that's exactly what Coach K did tonight.
Listening to his players tonight as well as Coach K, and I just say, well, what's going on this last decade? Well, number one, it's tradition. So when these players come in, they know there's a great tradition at Duke. Number 2, Coach K keeps it simple. They work very hard in defense, and their offense is really explosion offense, up-tempo. And, yeah, they screen a lot, drive, penetrate, and kick it to the threes. There's no complicated set plays. The third thing they have that I think is a typical Duke trait is intensity. Their defense is intense. Their explosion is intense. They're intense on the board. Their bench comes in, they're intense. But Coach K just sits and just lets them play. And I'll tell you something. This is why this is a great program the last 10 years. Keeps it simple, keeps the tradition, and the intensity is there.
I agree with you, boss, and there's one other one I could add to that, number 4.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that.
Number 4. He gets McDonald's All-Americans instead of Wendy's.
That's it.
I used to get Wendy's.
He hasn't had many All-Americans like Shane Battier. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers, only whistled for 1 foul. Krzyzewski said there was no player that's ever come through his program he wanted a title more for than Shane Battier. Here's Krzyzewski with more post-game reaction.
Then when actually watching them play, I just turned to Johnny Dawkins, my assistant, and said, you know, I knew they're a terrific team. They're better. Like, we're going to have to play a very courageous game tonight to beat them. And I thought we did. We kept, first half, we were fortunate to be up by a couple with Jason's foul trouble. And I thought Chris Duhon, for an 18-year-old, leading our team, handling the ball was sensational. And then in the second half, each one of these guys did something that just kept us in the league. Mike's 3 threes in about 45 seconds gave us that, I think, a lot of confidence. We got a 10-point lead. Nate, when the stuff was going the other way, got that 3-point play. Shane with a couple of those offensive boards and buckets. And, of course, Jason with the big 3. You know, it's truly a great team effort, and I love the fact that these kids won. They're certainly deserving of national championship.
And you saw the affection of the players right back for Krzyzewski. Battier say wanting to give him a win that kind of separates him from the pack of coaches who won 2 national titles. Still not a very big pack. His 3rd national title, his 10th win at the Final Four, trailing only John Wooden. He also has lost 4 title games, so he has had a chance to win a whole bunch. And is there any reason why they won't get back to the championship game a bunch more times and win a few more titles?
They're going to be back. And I'll tell you, it's amazing. When you see programs lose 1 guy to the NBA or 2 guys to the NBA, they collapse. But when Duke lost 3 kids a couple years ago, you figure, well, Maggette goes, Brand goes, and Avery goes. They're not going to get back. What? Get back? They win another national championship. So what's happened, when you look at the way they get it done, and especially in the recruiting like you brought up, this program is as solid as any. And we talk about Wooden winning 10 out of 12 national championships back into the 60s, into the 70s. The Dukies now going from the 90s to the next century. They're solid.
Well, I'll tell you this, Digger. There is such admiration and respect for Coach K. When he walks into a youngster's house and he offers a Duke scholarship, many of the kids obviously are very recipient. Will the beat go on? Think about this. They lose Nate James. They got a player sitting out, Dante Jones, who is going to be sensational next year. I've watched him in practice. Unbelievable. And Chris, he's already got commitments from 2 juniors, a 6'11" kid from Joliet, Illinois, Michael Thompson, and he told me the best shooter that maybe he's ever recruited, J.R. Reddick from out of Roanoke, Virginia. So the beat's going to go on and on.